are in the Roadmap series playing the same solos and same riffs and the similar riffs in all 7 keys in A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so what this series is about is trying to play in the key of A, but playing the same licks as we're going to play in B, C, D, E, F, and G, and so on. So we're looking at 8 riffs, 8 solid riffs, kind of like when someone looks at you're playing together and it's like, hey, take one, Mark, and it's like, take one where? Oh my God, wait, I'm not ready. So I want you guys to get ready and to have at least 8 of these licks just under your belt where you could play in all 7 keys. Actually, we could play them in all 12. All right, so starting off, we're going to start with the simple line. That will be our first riff out of the 8. And the simple line, if we were going on the key of A, we would go to the 5th string and find our A note, the root note, or the key note, okay? So here we are on that open, and we'd play this simple line. Okay? And many of us know that. It's like, no big deal. But then we're going to modulate up to B, and so we're going to find the B note, which is on the 2nd fret, on the 5th string, and do the same thing. Or here we go onto the C. Find that on the 5th string on the 3rd fret. Okay, so that's a great way to just, here we are up at bat, Mark, take one, and I hit the ball and I get to first base. So that simple line gives us that giddy up and go, and let's go. And so it's like right on. But it kind of leaves us hanging on the simple line going, here we are in C, and then I'm going to do it again, a little slower. I'm going to go back, okay, and all of a sudden, you know, here we are ending on C, and it's kind of hangs me out there. I need to do something. So with the number 1 lick, the simple line, I like to hook up the hook lick, and I call it the hook lick. Other people might call it something else, but I call it the hook lick to kind of hook it and finish us up. And since we're in C, where I want to go is on the 2nd string and find my 2nd string note, and there it is on that C note. You know, if we're on the 13th fret, there's my C note. If we're playing an A, that would be right there on the 10th fret. That would be my A note on the 2nd string, or B on the 12th, okay? But we're playing in C right now, so I'm gonna go up to the 13th fret, and this hook lick is I found my root note. I'm gonna go down under it on the 1st string and play this lick. Okay, so I found the root note. I'm going under the root note on the 1st string to play 1, 2, 3, hit that root note, and then I'm going to do a whole step. And those of you guys that study with me, it's like kind of a major scale, whole half. All I'm doing is a whole step and a whole step after my root note. So I'm doing that whole step kind of deal, hitting those notes. Super cool. And it's a great way to wrap it up. So once again, here we are on C. Kind of hanging out there. I'm going to find my C note and go under it. So that's it's super cool to wrap us up. If I did the A in the key of A, I'd find my A note right here and go, sorry. All right. And so it's same, and it's that hook lick that like wraps us up. We got on base, we hit the ball, we're on first base. So now, after the hook lick, what do I do now? Well, now we can go into a major scale. And I like playing the 3-note scale on the 6th string and the 5th string. I'm going to focus on the 6th string, you guys, with this series and just play that 3-note major scale, and I'm going to find my C note. And so I'm going to go on 6th string, and on the 8th fret, that's my C note right there, okay? And I'm going to play the major scale. Okay, and notice it lands me right back on that C note. It's like super cool, right? If I did A, I'd find the A note on my 6th string, and I'm going to do that scale. Okay, and then there's my A note. So it lands me back on that root note, which is very important, which I want. All right, so I'm going to go back into C. And on the videos, I kind of give it a giddy up and go, and I'm going to go. And I'm kind of like that. We don't have to do that. We can go nice and slow, and it sounds just as beautiful. Okay, but the main part is we're going to land on that 2nd string root note. So that's our major scale, and we go through all of them. We do, going in A. If I did my A, I would, again, go on the 5th fret. If I went to B, it would be the 7th fret, and so on. C, D, okay, on the 10th fret. So there's our major scale. Now moving on, we're going to go after the major scale. I landed on our C. When we did the C, I landed right here on the 2nd string note, root note. And this is forcing me to get to know my 2nd string notes, because I'm going to go into a dissonant, a chromatic dissonant lick, which I really love to do. And a dissonant lick, it's going to hit notes that just don't belong, or a note. And so notice the 3rd note. It's like that note right there is going to be a B flat for the C. It's like super horrible. It doesn't belong, but together it's super cool going. It sounds really good, you guys. After the major scale going. It brings that flavor into it. And then after I do the dissonance, remember here with you guys studying the pentatonics, here I am on that root note on the 13th on the C major. We're in the key of C. That gets me into the 4th shape of the pentatonic. Fireman's ladder is my little nickname for it. Okay? And when I'm going to go into that dissonant. And it's like, okay, then what am I going to do after that? Well, we could do all kinds of things. You can go just into the 4th shape. I think I do that in one part of the demos, and I think A or whatever. C, you could do that kind of thing after your chromatic dissonance. You could do you can go into banjo rolls. But what I did is I was like, wait a minute. We're playing in this 2-5-1-6 progression, and after the chromatic scale, or the dissonant chromatic scale, we're coming into the 1 chord, which is our key that we're playing in. It's our root. And so in C, I'm like, wait, I should be playing an arpeggio. So after the chromatic dissonant scale, I'm like, wait, where's my C arpeggio? And those of you that have been with me for a while, this is one of my favorites arpeggios. Is we look toward the 5th string again and try to find the root note, which again lands us on the C note on the 5th string. And I'm just going to go, okay, and notice I'm going to land right on that C note on the first string doing this arpeggio. Okay, and where I found it is on the 5th string on the root note, and it's going to be for the C note. It's just a super arpeggio. If I was going to do D, I'd find the D note right here. If we were going to go to E, which we are, okay, and it leads me right to the root note. So going back to C. Okay, and it's like, wait a minute. Okay, so I did an arpeggio. Sounds great on the first chord. Right? It's like, wait, that sounds really good. Doing this arpeggio. And then I'm like, all right, I've been doing a lot of root notes. What about the relative minor? So most of you guys know, here's my pinky major relative minor index on my pentatonic scales, and it leads us right into the first shape. It always does on the arpeggio. So here we are on the C note, and then wait, I'm in first shape pentatonics. Okay, and so with that, I'm going to look at this. Our next run is going to be on the 5th lick is the relative minor, and I want to hit these A notes right here. So I'm going to hit 4 of them. There's 1 on the 5th fret. I slide on my pinky on the 2nd string on the 10th fret. So 1A here going, that's my 2nd A, and then I'm going to come back in. So A, going, there's my 3rd A right here, and all I did was I'm playing that pentatonic first shape. And then I'm just going to go to the 3rd string and then drop down, slide down onto the 5th shape to hit that 4th A. So altogether on this relative minor lick, it sounds really cool if you do a little giddy up and go on it, going, I'm going to go slow first. Okay, but if I do a giddy up and go, it's like, whoa, where did that come from? Okay, so that's that relative minor, and that's our 5th lick. And going into the 6th lick, it brings us into the low 5th shape pentatonic and in the key of C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that long low 5th pentatonic shape run and go into the 5th, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th shape on this run after doing the relative minor. And it leads us into that kind of arpeggio D shape, which is a C chord. Well, all we're doing is a D shape, but it's a C chord, which is going to sound really good, and it kind of ends up like an arpeggio with us playing it like inverted. Okay, so once again, on our low 5th pentatonic shape run, that's our 6th lick. Cat meow into the 3rd shape, and then the D shape chord on the C. It's a C chord, and it gives us that arpeggio to end us off. It's like, that's super cool. But then it's like, wait, what do I do after that? What can I do? Well, here we're back on that 4th shape, that fireman ladder, again on the root note. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called a double stop, these harmonic double stop that sound really good going. Okay, and that's just going to bring color into the scale. Okay, and we just find it on our 4th shape on our root note on the 2nd string. So if I was in A here I am on my A note, okay, and I did that run. I'm just going to do the A root note and hold down a double stop and go. Okay, if I was in B, there's my B note. All right, and it just brings that color. It's like, wait, that adds a lot to our solos. So I love these double stops harmonics. I'm going to go back into the C note here. Okay, it's like, all right, you did the double stop, and that's going to be our number 7 lick. And then it's like, okay, what do I do now, Mark? What's going on? I did that colorful, double stop. Well, I'm going to find my C once again, my C note, where we just started from with the double stop. And I'm going to go up one more string on the third string, and I'm going to go back and forth over that root note. So I'm just doing a back and forth on the 4th shape. Okay, so we're just in the 4th shape. I went back to the root note, and this is going to be our 8th lick to wrap us up, hitting these root notes. And so I'm not even going to hit the root note. I'm just going to go back and forth over it. And then I'm going to hit it. Okay, so I'm in 4th shape, and then I'm going to go to 5th shape and find that on the 3rd and 4th string and play over those. I'm going to bounce on those. So here, starting it off, doing our wrapping up our hitting root lick. I'm going to go into the 5th shape. And again, notice I'm hitting the root note. Here, the C, there's the C, but I'm just staying on that 3rd string, back and forth on the 4th string. Okay, and then I'm going to go to the 1st shape, back to that C, way up high. Okay, but I could jump it down and play on the 5th and 8th fret to, really conclude it. So again, to conclude us on the 8th lick, it's my wrap up, hitting the root notes, finding my root note that's on the 2nd string, going back and forth over it. Going into, that's 4th shape, 5th shape now, going here on the 3rd string, to the 1st shape. And that gives us that wrap up. Okay, and we do that in all the keys, and we just follow these same solo riffs, similar riffs, to play in all the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that's what this roadmap series is all about, to become fluid, to become functional, and not just one key, but in 7. All right, I hope you guys get something out of this, and keep on jamming. See you on the next one.